Hello, today we will be discussing building healthy co-parenting relationships after divorce, and this presentation is specifically for parents with infants and young children, presented by me, Robin Ontiveros. So, a little introduction to the topic. 27% of children in the US experience parental divorce before becoming an adult. Parental divorce is considered an adverse childhood experience that leads to increased risk for negative physical and behavioral health outcomes. Further research concludes that parental conflict leads to negative outcomes in children and disrupts how families negotiate through post-divorce issues. And research has found stronger co-parenting alliance with positive parenting practices leads to protective outcomes for the risk of children. Co-parenting refers to the ways parents work together to co-parent. Four basic types of co-parenting include support versus undermining, differences in child-rearing issues, division of parental labor, and management of family interactions. So these are just some basic statistics to help introduce the topic and the importance of co-parenting after divorce. So when focusing on research-based theories that go into divorce and co-parenting and healthy co-parenting alliances for the benefit of the child, these are two theories that I found to be really valuable for this topic. The first being family systems theory, which defines the family as a whole unit of various social systems that interact and influence one another's behavior. So this can be the mom and the dad and the child, and the mom and the dad influence the child, and vice versa. For one quote that goes with this family systems theory is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So when the family works together as a system, it is greater and they accomplish much more and build more resilience than if they just work alone. The family systems interacting regulate family interactions and outcomes. Parents, marital relationships, parenting styles, and co-parenting interact as contributing to the family system overall. Another theory that I found to be of great value was attachment theory. And specifically, we're going to be looking at attachment theory through infants and toddlers. So to begin, infants 0 to 18 months. Infants become strongly attached to their caretakers, and research that analyzes how divorce can affect an infant's attachment with caretakers. This research has found that infants may develop stranger anxiety after divorce and not seeing one parent as often. Infants and toddlers can have secure attachment with both parents, even if they do not live in the same home. Infants can show separation distress between 8 and 12 months through cry, screaming, or clinging to a parent when they leave. Furthermore, into attachment theory, focusing on toddlers ages 18 months to 3 years old, toddlers can use language to express how they are feeling, unlike infants can sense when something is going wrong, when a parent isn't there, but they can't verbalize their feelings or their emotions. And so that's why they do the crying or the clinging to a parent, but because they do still notice that there is a difference in caregiving routines. However, with toddlers, they are starting to be more vocal and able to express themselves in various different ways or attempt to express themselves. And they are more able to comprehend one parent not being in the house full time. Toddlers are more liable to ask questions about parental separation, such as asking one parent where the other one is or when they are coming back, and they will do this quite often because their comprehension level is still developing. So it may seem like a nuisance at first because your toddler may be asking you the same questions over and over again, and that can be very difficult for a parent, but it's very important to acknowledge your child and to answer them with patience and kindness and with a valuable response. Toddlers may miss the parent who is gone and feel angry or sad about it, often acting out in attempts to try and comprehend their own feelings. This can be feelings of anger or sadness, and they may act out in different behavioral ways. For example, if they go to a daycare and things are going on at home, they notice a difference, so they might act out more for attention, and this is them trying to understand these big feelings that they have, because they developmentally are not at the age where they are able to really understand feelings of anger and sadness. They just know that they're there. Moving on to the next slide, we will be discussing co-parenting and child adjustment. So this research focused on divorce can lead to different structural changes, visitation issues, and income reductions and changes. One way to limit these impacts on a child include interpersonal agreements and positive communication between the parents that can limit negative consequences on the child's adjustment. A recent report indicates that supportive and undermining co-parenting relations when a child is 3 years old predicts child externalizing that behavior at 4 years old. Furthermore, research has found co-parenting conflict during infancy predicted higher preschool teacher ratings of child aggression behaviors. Low parental cooperation during summer vacations in one study led to attention problems, passivity, and low math grades for school-age children. In a longitudinal study, they found the absence of co-parenting cooperation and togetherness led to increased negative associations in the parent-child relationship. So this could be the mainly the child that with a parent who is not in the household full time. It can lead to those disruptions in that relationship, which is why it's important to understand the effects that co-parenting can have on a child's adjustment in the ways explained, such as through educational opportunities and academic achievement, behavioral issues, and acting out. And moving forward to co-parenting dimensions. Co-parenting consists of 4 different dimensions. When researching on co-parenting, we found these 4 different dimensions to be agreement, disagreement on child issues. So this could be agreeing on potty training rituals or daycare and things like that. Division of labor regarding the child. So child custody and splitting that time so it's equal and that it's good enough for each parent that they're both comfortable with. Support and understanding between the co-parents, supporting one another and having an understanding for one's beliefs so that way they can come together and co-parent and cohabitate. And then finally, the 4th dimension of co-parenting is joint management of family interactions. So just to touch some more on supportive co-parenting, since that's what we want to focus on today, this includes acting as a child's team, sharing direct care, managing conflict, feeling supported, and parenting together. Supportive co-parenting is linked to children's post-divorce adjustment, such as child's pro-social behavior and peer competence, the way they interact with their peers, the way that their behavior is with dealing with behavioral issues and emotional issues and changes that come with divorce. Now we will discuss the benefits of healthy co-parenting relationships to know why this is so important and why this is something that parents should work together on to build these healthy co-parenting relationships and how it can benefit their child and their family. Co-parenting relationships can impact involvement of each parent. Continued involvement can increase financial stability for children and reduce stress for parents, which leads to better environments for a healthy child development. Children develop feelings of stability. They are less likely to feel abandoned. They will not feel torn between the parents of having to choose mom or dad or whatever the situation is. And the child can have continued relationship with both parents in a healthy, supportive way, not feeling guilty about spending time with one over the other, for example. Healthy co-parenting helps the child feel that they are a priority and that they are more important than any conflict that goes on between the parents. And it helps the child feel secure, developing that secure attachment that we discussed and the benefits that come with that. And then healthy co-parenting relationships help the child learn healthy and modeled problem-solving skills. So when you and your ex-spouse are able to come together and work together, even after getting a divorce for the better of your child, and they see that, they will be able to see that healthy representation of what problem-solving skills are that they can then transition to their peer relationships and future romantic relationships and parenting styles. So how do we build these healthy relationships? Through some research, I found some helpful suggestions. So to break it down for you, many divorced parents in the US are actually required to attend a divorce education program provided by the the state. In Co-Parenting Alliance, these programs focus on key goals being improving alliances between co-parents and reducing conflict by learning healthy co-parenting relationships after divorce. So it could be really beneficial for both parents to go attend these educational programs, even though most of the time states only require one parent to go. Furthermore, responding to child's needs in affectionate ways as parents, so giving child time with each parent on a regular basis, having frequent contact has been found to help infants and young children remember and develop secure attachment with both parents. Parents can work together to help child build these secure attachments by cooperation and less conflict, helping them develop resilience and encouraging their expression of feelings through play or artwork or reading books with them, communicating with each other and coordinating plans on things such as toilet training or breastfeeding schedules if your infant is very young and still in that stage. And children benefit most when parents find a balance and nurture the child through stressful periods such as divorce. Parents should try to avoid fighting in front of the child and criticizing each other or sharing information that is not appropriate for children. For example, this can include money or negative outlooks on the other parent, trying to prohibit that discussion with your child because that is not appropriate and that can lead to incoherent parent-child relationships. So I wanted to mention some resources for parents who are trying to co-parent and figuring out where to start. One helpful link that I found is the Basics on Co-Parenting for Parents, seen on your right side. And this is just a little article that is very easy to understand and very helpful going over the basics of co-parenting, such as what it is, do children have an impact on this relationship, and all of that basic information that can be very helpful to start. And then I have some books as resources for y'all to read with your children together or separately. One is Why Do Families Change? Our first talk about separation and divorce. And this is a helpful, developmentally appropriate way to discuss divorce and separation with young children, written by Dr. Jillian Roberts. And some more resources for parents are this link. And at the top, it's a helpful website that provides information on co-parenting after a divorce when having an infant, with tips and suggestions for optimal child development. And I have another link with a list of books appropriate for infants and toddlers that address families, feelings, and separation. I included pictures and a little description of two of my favorites on this list that I thought would be very beneficial. One is Sun Kisses and Moon Hugs. This is by Susan Schaefer and Courtney Fletcher. It's a picture book that addresses love lasts forever, helping support children through grief, separation anxiety, and divorce. A great thing about this book, it is culturally adaptive and available in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking parents as well. And then the second book that I linked was The Invisible Web by Patrice Karst, explaining how all of our strings are interconnected in the invisible web, making us a big family even if we're not all together. So these are just some helpful little tips and ways that you can discuss with your child, whether they're an infant with a picture book or a preschooler or toddler, preschooler, or school-age child. They could benefit from these things. And the links provided will also help further with further resources and tools that you can use to integrate to create optimal, healthy co-parenting. Because as we discussed throughout this presentation, co-parenting is hard and it's tough, but it's also very valuable, and it is a very great thing to dive into after divorce, because divorce effects on children can go into numerous ways and have very negative outcomes, but they can also turn positive. And so in using these resources and this research and this information, you will hopefully be able to start building healthy co-parenting relationships. And these are my references for the referenced research and articles that you can go and find all of this information if you want to take a deeper look. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation today.